En inglés todo, ¿oíste? Oíste, lo introducen en inglés, Char. Ok.
Bueno, mi gente, bienvenido una vez más al Perfume Podcast. Estamos en la temporada 3, señores, con nuestro segundo episodio, ya con nuevas integrantes, con nuevos proyectos que estamos comenzando. Recuerden que en esta nueva temporada íbamos a hacer entrevistas, vamos también a hacer unos cuantos live. ¿Cómo están ustedes, señores? Que teníamos tiempo sin juntarnos.
Sí, no, y la gente está esperando con ansia que empecemos.
Sí, realmente dudamos mucho para comenzar, ¿verdad?
Sí, se ha tomado su tiempo.
Un poquito de coordinación faltaba ahí. Sí. Pero yo vengo aquí a poner...
Sí, tú eres la que hace el match.
Tenemos aquí a Kay, que es la que nos va a poner como en sintonía, ¿verdad? En orden.
Yes.
También es la que se va a encargar, señores, de responderle a ustedes en Instagram y en todo. O sea que...
Me pueden escribir directamente, cualquier cosa, yo estoy aquí para ustedes.
¿Y tú, Eric, cómo va eso? Que te veo como
tranquilo, bien, ¿no?
Como tímido.
Oyéndolo a ustedes, dejándolo que fluyan.
Dentro de un rato lo vamos a escuchar hablando inglés.
Bueno, señores, el día de hoy tenemos una entrevista a una persona muy especial que realmente está haciendo un trabajo grandísimo, se está conociendo realmente en toda parte del mundo. Hoy vamos a hablar con un perfumista, también dueño de una casa de perfumes, que tienen una línea inspirada en República Dominicana. Entonces, el perfumista que tenemos el día de hoy se llama Michael Paul. Y queremos presentarlo. Vamos a hacer una entrevista en inglés. Lo que sí le vamos a poner unos subtítulos en español para que ustedes puedan entender todo lo que estamos diciendo el día de hoy. Michael, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good, very good. Thank you for your time here with us.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be on with you. Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Where you are is your mini lab, right? Your lab right now.
Yeah. This is we're in one of the labs right now. We've got a lab and a studio, and a separate office and storage area and warehouse, and a new boutique coming. So this is like one of my areas here.
That is nice. So we're going to start. We're going to do some questions.
Okay.
Sorry if our English is not the best, but I think that you can maybe understand Spanish, English.
Well, your English is way better than my Spanish. So.
We're going to talk in Spanglish right now.
Spanglish, yeah.
Yeah, it's Spanglish.
So, Michael, maybe you can talk a little bit about how you start in this world of creating perfume.
Yeah, it's kind of an unbelievable story. In fact, usually before I tell people the story, I have to tell them, I'm not kidding. This is actually the truth. I was working as a magician, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I was a magician for 25 years. And my wife was into the medical industry.
Okay.
And we were in a place where we felt like we weren't where we needed to be. We started doing a lot of praying about what God wanted for our lives, because we just felt stuck. When you're spinning your wheels, but you feel like you're not getting anywhere. And so we started to pray, and we were asking God, what do you want for us? What does our future look like?
Okay.
And God just answered our prayers, and he kind of put a message in my heart, and he said, you're going to start a perfume company.
That's amazing.
And
wow.
It's crazy because we had never talked about that before, and we didn't really have any desire previously to do that. It's not like we were thinking hey, maybe someday we'll start a perfume company. We were both kind of confused by it, but we said all right, if that's what God wants for our lives, we'll jump in and we'll do it. So we created our very first perfume, and it was in a really ugly bottle. It was very plain. The label was just paper, nothing fancy. And it was my first perfume, and no one had ever heard of our company. And we submitted it to a big contest. It was the Art and Olfaction Awards.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And perfume won, and it's the biggest award in all of perfumery. Our perfume won. And so from there is the company just sort of took off, and we've been growing ever since.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's
Wow.
very nice. So you didn't have a background, so study anything. Just one day you have to get, let me try a perfume. Let me do some research.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I knew some things about some of the materials because, I was a magician for so long.
Okay.
And in my show, I had a trick where I would take a paper napkin and I would fold it up into the shape of a flower, and then I would hand it to a woman, and she would think of her favorite flower. And then when she smelled the napkin, it smelled like her favorite flower.
Wow.
And so, in order to do
I need that trick, please.
I had to sort of learn a little bit about how to make a napkin smell like certain flowers,
Okay.
So I knew a little bit about the materials, and I sort of knew how to make flowers smell certain ways, but I had never made a perfume before. That was completely new to me.
That is very nice. So, how you say that you passed 25 years in magician. Have you create or you thinking to create one day a perfume inspired in magic?
No, I mean, I'm not opposed to the idea, but it's never just grabbed me.
Okay.
It's not something that's usually when I have an idea for a perfume, it's something that's on my mind just all the time. It's something that I wake up and I think about, and I go to sleep thinking about it. And magic really doesn't do that for me anymore. I love magic, and I love that part of my life, but I'm exploring other ideas right now.
Okay.
Nice. So I know you have some question.
Okay, Michael.
Don't worry, you have a good English.
No problem.
Okay.
No. In this case, for example, I have one question. In this case, is what do you many idea for Dominican perfumes come from? This is your wife to prepare to this coffee and the different, for example, place, or in this case is one you discover. Let me see this, or let me try to in different location. What do you think about this?
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, see, I don't really have a good relationship with my mother, right?
Oh.
And so for a very long time, that's bothered me. And, just having this feeling like I don't have a mom. And when I met my wife is Dominican.
Yes.
And, the Dominican culture is very family oriented.
Yeah.
Family is big. And so when we got married, well, even before we got married, my wife's mother sort of adopted me into the family. I became her son right away.
That's normal here.
Whenever we would go over to her house, she would sit us both down. She would make us a little cup of coffee. She'd make us a slice of Dominican cake. And it was the same thing every time we went over. And after a little while, I got to associate the smells from her house.
Okay.
And that to me, I started to associate that with the feeling of having a mom again. And so to me, those smells were really personal. It was like the smell of a mother's love. Mm-hmm. And so when I did my first perfume, I wanted to do it for Vanessa's mom because I wanted to show her, I wanted to do that for her. And so we did the perfume with all the accords, from her coffee, from her cake, all the smells from her house. Wow. And we put it together. And now that Vanessa and I are married, we've been married for about 10 years now, and that's just the culture of our house. So when she cooks, she's cooking, Dominican food, Dominican desserts. When she makes juices, it's pineapple juice, it's mango juice, and and now it's just what I associate with having a family and having love and having that culture that I didn't have before. And for me, all of these smells and the Dominican culture is kind of new. So I didn't grow up in it, I'm experiencing it like for the first time as an adult. And so it's easier for me to have like a passion for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because to me, like, it's exciting for me.
That is nice.
Wow.
Now I'm more in love with the brand now.
Yes, of course.
You want to other question?
What is your favorite fragrance right now of your brand? From your brand.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's a hard question.
You need to pick one. If you need to pick one.
I think Tres Oros, which is coming out.
That's
That's
the
a new
new
release.
one. That's
Yeah.
a new one, right?
It's brand new, yeah. And it's because it's one that I really did like for me. So like I just told you the story about doing the perfume for Vanessa's mom. She comes over here to the lab and she'll watch over everything when we go travel. And then when we come back from wherever we're at, there's always a Dominican cake on the counter.
Okay.
And sort of the unspoken rule is like, that's Mike's cake, you know? It's my favorite. And I just wanted to do a perfume that was like, for me, like of all stuff that I love, that is unapologetically sweet and nuclear, and like I just wanted to have fun, you know. I just wanted to flex a little bit. And so I did Tres Oros, which is, it's got the like that warm pineapple sort of vanilla from the cake.
Okay.
But also there's platanos in the mid.
Yep.
And then in the base there's honey. And we put in some cinnamon to make the platanos feel like a Maduro's accord.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it has that dessert vibe. And then the honey is kind of like an inside joke, because whenever we're all hanging around, if her mom wants me to go get something from the kitchen, all the time she's yelling at me, Mike, put honey on it, put honey on it. So I just threw honey into the fragrance as sort of like an inside joke, and it blended really nice. And I just love the way it smells because it's very gourmand, it's very sweet.
Okay.
But it's not like all the other gourmand perfumes that are on the market, because those all smell like cupcakes and caramel and cotton candy. And this is warm pineapple and platanos and honey. Like, it just feels more authentic. It's more fun for us.
Okay.
Yes,
Super
I
cool.
remember try when we meet in Saint Explorer that you have a deacon in the pocket. Hey Juan, this is a news release. Just it was very nice. It was very different what we have in the market right now, Rhys.
Thank you very much. The one thing that I remember about, you know, because I only showed it to 5 or 6 people at Scent Explorer, like all of our VIP friends, right? So when we saw you, I was like, hey, listen, you've got to try this new thing. Yeah. And what I remember from spraying it at Scent Explorer is that's a convention where there's so much perfume in the air.
I can imagine.
Very hard to smell things because there's so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I remember spraying Tres Oros, and you can, like, it just filled up the room. Like, the moment it's that's when I knew. I was like, okay, this is
right now.
Yes. You know, Kay is our, like, sweet lover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
She loves all the perfume that is sweet, gourmand, so she's going to love it.
I just was asking, like, okay, I need one from the brand. What do you recommend me? So Juan was telling me, like, you need to try Tres Oros. So
yes,
I'm going to buy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Sure, that would be your favorite for sure.
I can imagine. Have you layered your fragrance? What is your favorite combination, if you have?
I just started layering recently, actually.
Okay.
People have been convincing me to layer, because I used to think, like, I work so hard on a fragrance to make sure that it's balanced, just right. And then I thought, why would I take 2 and just throw them together?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. You know? But I had a bunch of customers telling me that they take Del Mar and Bani, and they layer them, and that it's a great layering combination. So I tried it, and I actually kind of like it.
Okay.
And then recently, Vanessa's sister was here, and she was making some samples, and she had gotten some Alin on her gloves. And then she went and she was pouring Tres Oros, and she got some of that on her gloves. Okay. And she was like, Mike, you have to smell this. Like, it was just amazing. So now I've been telling everybody to layer Alin and Tres Oros together, and it actually, it's kind of nice.
Oh, wow.
That is nice.
That's
All right,
amazing.
right.
It sounds good. Del Mar y
Del Mar y Vainilla.
Vainilla.
Como que
Yeah.
pegan incluso. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, what I've discovered is that Vanilla and Del Mar and Aylin and Tres Oros, they both share similar musk accords.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they have similar bases.
Okay.
So when you mix them together, they don't really contrast too much. Like they blend together nicely.
Okay. That's super.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you have another question here?
Yes, the other question here is, for example, what is the most complete for a part to create to the perfume? What is the complicate to create?
Is the
I think maybe the most
Difficult, yeah.
complicated
Yeah.
part, the part that takes the most time, I think, is getting a perfume to feel a certain way. Like sometimes you can put together accords and they smell the way that you want them to smell. But the fragrances that we've released from our brand are all based on like very personal inspirations.
Okay.
You know, it's not just the smell of my mom's coffee; it's the feel of like what it's like to be around her. Or we did Bani, and we did that because Vanessa's family is from Bani.
Okay.
And so just seeing all the pictures of like her growing up with the mangoes and everything, they have a certain feel to them.
Okay.
So it's going into the base notes really and trying to play with the musks, especially so that when you spray the perfume on, it not only smells the way you want it to smell, but it feels the way that you want it to feel, whether that be like warm and comforting, like La Tacita de Café, or something that's a little bit like brighter and airy, like Escándalo. And I think that's because if that's not just right, then the perfume, it doesn't hit the mark.
Mm.
Like for me, I have to know when it's done because when I spray it on, I have to feel a certain way.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I really think that people can tell the difference. Like if you smell a perfume that was created just because a perfumer wanted to release a jasmine fragrance,
Yes.
it doesn't have a feeling to it. And if you smell something that came from somebody's soul, I think you can tell the difference, you know? And so that's probably the most important part. That's the hardest part to get right.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. So, you know, I have a question about this different segment of type of brand. When we talk about like niche perfume, designer, we have the Arabic. I don't say in English.
Arabian.
There's Arabian. What do you think, indie too? What do you think about this different type of segment that we have the perfume?
I think designer is very, very safe, you know, because when you think about the different types of perfume, you have to think about why those things exist.
Yeah.
So like designer brands exist because clothing brands need something to sell to their customers, right? So you have like Dior, Versace, like it, and that's not bad. It's not a bad thing. They don't smell bad. But what happens is somebody from Versace says, okay, we need a perfume for the summertime. They'll go to the perfumer and they'll say, we want something that smells good. It's very fresh, very airy. And for the perfumer, he's not really emotionally attached to that product.
Yes.
He just puts something together that he thinks will smell good. And usually it does, right? But there's no emotion, like there's no soul.
There's no history or anything.
Yeah, and I think with a niche brand, you're more likely to get somebody who cares a little bit more about what the final project is gonna be like. Not all the time, and you know, unfortunately, as we start putting out stuff faster and faster, as more and more releases, I think maybe that waters down the quality a little bit.
Yes.
And you know, I'm just speaking generally. I'm not trying to talk negatively about any brand. I just think that, you know, in general, that's the way the industry is. The more volume you have, the less quality, right?
Yes, right.
And then you have indie brands doing good work, you know. The trouble with indie brands is, you know, there's not really like an association or some sort of governing body that that makes you a perfumer. Like, you don't have to go take a test and get licensed to be a perfumer.
Oh,
Okay.
So
Okay.
That's the difference. Okay.
anybody can pick up like a thing or two and throw them together and say like, I'm an indie perfumer now.
Okay.
So, and that kind of hurts our reputation as indie perfumers because sometimes when you hear indie perfumer, you think, oh, it's just some guy in his mom's basement putting together.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what's very interesting is now there's a lot of kids like 12, 13, 15 years old that are getting into high-end niche perfumery now.
Yes.
Where they're starting to learn like all the notes and all the complexities, and it's making it very interesting because that's going to be the future of perfumery.
Yes.
So I think that you're going to see designers sort of pull back a little bit, whereas it used to be everything in perfume was like designer perfumery. Now I think niche is going to catch up because you have kids on TikTok, they're like 15 years old, and they're into niche, and that's the future right now. So I think niche is going to be big.
Yes.
I have a question. Yeah.
Yes, that's of course.
What was the most difficult perfume for you to create?
Well, I have an answer for you, but so Bani was the most difficult to create, like to finish.
Okay.
But I don't really have a good reason as to why.
Okay.
It's just that
You don't need
I
to
just
say that.
wanted Bani to feel a certain way, and it just took forever to get it right. I mean, we must have gone through 200 variations.
That is great. That is great.
Because I wanted to do the inspiration behind Bani is because I was looking through a photo album,
Yes.
and I saw a picture of a little girl. She had a chewed up sugar cane in one hand, and she was eating a mango over a bucket. And I was like, oh, that's such a cool picture. Who is that? And my mom said, that's your wife, you know? And so I said, well, I have to do a perfume, you know, because the mango and the sugar cane. And I wanted the perfume to smell like what I thought the picture would smell like. Like a lot of mango perfumes now, they smell like candy, like mango bubblegum, or they're like very, very sweet. But I wanted Bani to smell like you broke open a mango and you put your face in it. Like that smell of the fresh, actual fruit. And that was not easy. That was pretty difficult. And now that we've done it, and I feel like Bani actually smells like, and we use mangoes from Bani. Because depending on where you get your mangoes from, they kind of smell different.
Yes.
Like if you get a mango from Thailand and a mango from Bani, they smell completely different, right?
Yep.
And now that we've released that perfume, we get a lot of complaints, actually, of people who misunderstood because they buy the perfume thinking they saw the word sugarcane and they saw a mango and they thought the perfume would be much sweeter, like candy.
Okay.
And then we have to explain to them, like, no, sugarcane, like the actual sugarcane, like if you chew on it, like that green sort of vibe. So, but we're very happy with the way that it came out eventually. I mean, it took a long time.
It's very good. It's very good perfume, right? It's very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have you been here in Dominican?
I haven't. We're supposed to go, and our trip keeps getting put off. But we are coming definitely this year. Like no doubt about it.
Nice.
Matter of fact, we want to come see you.
Yes, of
Yeah,
course. We have
need
to see it.
Of course.
We'll do it.
Yes.
Have you considered having a store here that you can distribute
definitely.
here?
Yeah, it's like top priority. We just started picking up retail partners this past year, and DR is definitely a place where, I mean, it would just make so much sense. Like it would feel so right to have a shop in DR. We're just trying to get buttoned up with all of our like regulations, and there's so much testing and you know all the government stuff that you have to do to be able to ship internationally. And as soon as we're done with that, DR is first on our list of places.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Right.
Nice.
Hey.
I don't know if you have another question.
I don't have any more.
Do you have?
Do you have it?
Michael, I got a question for you.
Yes.
where did you get the inspiration to make Downtown Deja Vu?
Oh, that was a fun one. That was a lot of fun to put together. I'm at the age now where when I think back to when I was a teenager, the mall was the place to just go hang out and have fun with all your friends, you know? And I've got kids now, and I'm always telling my kids what it was like when I was a teenager.
Okay.
So much different, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know how old you are, but like, I remember, like, if you wanted to go see a movie or if you wanted to rent a movie, you had to go to the store and get like a tape.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now kids don't have to do that because you just click the button on the TV and the movie just plays, right?
Yes.
So I was telling my daughter about going to the mall, and I told her, like, that's the place where you went to go shop with all of your friends, and it was like a hangout, and it was good times, just nostalgia. And so I wanted to do a fragrance that reminded me of that era. So when we did Downtown Deja Vu, I wanted to smell fruit smoothies, but like when you buy a t-shirt and it's brand new, like no one's worn it yet, it has a smell to it.
Mm-hmm.
And like walk by certain stores and you can smell the cinnamon buns and the leather jackets, like from the leather store. And I thought, let's do that. Like, it'll be fun. Yeah. And so that's what Downtown Deja Vu became.
No.
Yeah,
that's so fun.
Yeah,
Está perísimo.
that's exactly what I get from the
when you smell it. Right?
yeah, when I smell it, because it had something like fruity, something sweet, but it have a smell in I'm gonna say that in a good way, but it smells a little bit like a softener. And
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay.
It makes sense what you say, yes.
ajá, como que o sea, era
que eso
exacto, era lo que él decía sobre el
que lo del
poloche nuevo.
poloche, ajá.
It's like a
Exacto.
glove, a new glove.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, we use kind of like a trick in the perfume too, because back in the 90s, all of the clothing stores, they all had their own fragrance. Like if you walked into a clothing store, certain stores smelled certain ways.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like Abercrombie and Fitch, if you walked in, it smelled like that store, right? And all of those stores, when they were making their fragrance, they all used a really high amount of a certain material. It's called dihydromercenol. And that's what made it smell so fresh and almost metallic. And so what we did was we used a really high dose of dihydromercenol in Downtown Deja Vu,
Okay.
so that it would like remind you, like when you smell it, it would remind you of like going into those stores and sort of like being in that era. So,
Yeah,
so we
Nice.
not really smell, but that's like a good example of like when I was saying the perfume has to feel a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So when you spray on Downtown Deja Vu, it actually feels like you're walking through the mall.
Oh, that's nice. Nice.
Buenísimo.
So I wanna ask you, Michael, what are the next steps of day 3? You are going to work in with a perfume with oud, or you're going
Yes.
to or you're going to do a collaboration with a famous people? No.
Or other the
I think
Dominican people.
Scandalo has oud.
Well, I don't remember. Scandal.
A little tiny bit. A little tiny bit.
Un
But
poquito.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to. I wasn't sure if I wanted to list oud on the notes for Escandalo because it's in there, but we were concerned because if you really love oud, like you love oud fragrances,
Yeah.
and then you saw that as a note, and then you bought Escandalo, you'd be very disappointed because it doesn't smell like an oud fragrance, you know. So I wasn't sure if we should put that in there, but I thought it's in the perfume. We should list it in the notes.
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But next steps for day 3, we are actually doing a really big collaboration with a music artist.
Wow.
And
Hey, congrats.
yeah, thank you. We're doing our very celebrity fragrance, and it's for an artist. Her name is Megan Woods, and we haven't told anybody. You're the very first people to know, like ever.
Yay!
Brand new for us.
This is, we're so excited, and Vanessa should know, like, I'm terrible at keeping secrets, so she knew. But I'm just so excited about it. She has a song called The Truth, and it's #1 in 35 countries right now. She is #1 on iTunes. She's one of the Amazon artists to watch for 2025, and she wanted to have her own perfume, and they reached out, and it just turns out that her manager was a big fan of Day 3.
Wow, that's nice.
He has almost our whole line, and he loves the line, and so he said, would you be willing to do a fragrance that matches Megan's song? And I said, well, let me listen to the song, and let me talk to Megan, because our brand is very important to us. And if we're going to do a collaboration, we want to make sure that it really fits with who we are as a brand.
Yes.
Let me tell you, I heard this song and I was moved to tears. Like I almost cried. Like the song is so powerful,
Right.
because it's about a girl who the world keeps telling her that she has to dress a certain way and look a certain way, or she doesn't have any value. And then the song is called The Truth because one of the lines that she said, but the truth is that I was made in God's image and that he loves me just the way I am and that I'm perfect because he made me.
That is nice. That is very nice.
Especially me with having a teenage daughter, like that message was like very impactful for me. And I said, I would love to do a fragrance that tells this story. And so we got together with Megan. She's the nicest person in the world. And we developed a fragrance that's it's a rose fragrance.
Okay.
We a very special rose from France. And we wanted to give it a little Dominican twist too, because that's the Day 3 brand.
Of course.
So in the top note, there's a passion fruit top note.
Oof.
Qué
Nice.
Qué rico.
Chinola, we say chinola.
Chinola.
And it's absolutely beautiful. Like it's just very airy. It's ethereal. You spray it on, and it just wraps all around you. It's beautiful. I can't wait for you to smell it. You will love it.
All right.
And when is going to a launch?
I think it's going to launch towards the end of April.
Oh.
So I think
It's right now.
soon.
It's soon.
Yeah.
it's going to be right around the corner. The fragrance is already done, and we were just waiting to get through the launch of Tesoros first.
Okay.
And give it some time to let people know. Again, you're the very first people to know. So we want to take like a month to just sort of get the word out there to get people excited and then launch it at the end of April.
That is,
Ay, qué
they
chulo.
sound very good there.
Right.
Qué chulísimo. Wow.
Sí. Bueno,
Pues nada.
Anyone?
I think we are good. It was incredible, Michael. It was a pleasure this time that you have with us.
Yeah. Was
Thank you
amazing
so much.
talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Yes.
Oh,
And
thank you for having me on. It was actually a lot of fun talking to you. And anytime you want me to come back, I'm yours. Anytime you want.
Okay.
we are hoping that to see you here in Dominican Republic soon. So we want
right.
to meet you personally.
Yes.
For
So
sure.
we are waiting for you. So that you know that, yeah, okay?
Yeah, I won't let you down.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Nice
Have a
to
nice-
meet you. It was a pleasure for us.
Bye, it's nice meeting everybody.
Bye bye.
Thanks.
Señores, nos perdonan por lo que vean en el tirado en Spanglish.
No, pues ya terminamos ya.
Pero para despedir el episodio, ¿qué te
Claro.
sucede, compadre?
Ah, pues ya él
pero
terminó.
está-
Cerramos el episodio con ella, estamos cerrando el episodio.
Otra vez.
No, ya él se desentendió.
Tú vas a tener que cortar esa parte. Bueno, lo cortamos
No,
nosotros.
todo se queda
Eso
puro.
es orgánico,
Todo del pueblo, todo del pueblo.
Ya,
Dale, te-
Orgánico.
señores, no nos critiquen, perdónennos por el Spanglish ahí comido.
Machucado.
Machucado en buen dominicano, porque valga la
Claro,
redundancia,
claro,
estamos aquí.
claro.
Así que...
No, señores, no, y hay que decir, hay que recordar a la gente que tienen que seguirnos en todas las redes.
Por favor.
Estamos en Spotify. Oye, esa cama está como que muy bajita. Yo no la veo. Porque yo estoy mirando siempre como a la pantalla o por acá, no sé.
Pero en verdad tú te ves
aquí.
bien. Yo te
No,
estoy viendo
y
aquí.
después dicen que ven acá, pero Chala
Oye,
tiene un ojo
pico,
como
pico,
doblado.
pico. Pongan el
Señores,
video eso, edición, pongan el video eso, es verdad.
tienen que seguir nuestras redes porque esta temporada viene cargada de muchísimas entrevistas así con perfumistas, con cosas diferentes, con eventos, con giveaway. Esta temporada viene
¿Verdad?
chula.
Yo
Tenemos
subí un
giveaway pendiente.
video, tengo los perfumes en mi casa. Nada más estoy esperando hacer un par de arreglitos para tirar el giveaway por Instagram
Exacto.
y que se lo lleven. Esos perfumes están riquísimos.
Así que
No es agua de coco ni vaina que vamos a dar, es vaina bacana.
Ni azúcar negra con agua,
No, nada de eso. Nada de eso.
yache.
Señores, nos pueden seguir en Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Nuestras redes que vamos a poner por aquí
Todo
debajo.
Hágale la maldad a alguien y mándeselo.
Así que
Aunque él no sepa de perfume.
nos
Para
vemos,
que
gente.
sepa.
Ey, nos vemos en el próximo entonces.
Chao.